can you get fired for your disability? You can. Here's how. So I got this job where I was going to be a summer counselor at a camp for kids and adults with disabilities. And they hired me actually after seeing a presentation, much like the one you're in right now, a presentation where I talked about the many jobs that I have lost. And then they hired me after seeing that. So this was like if I was on a date with a girl after she's seen a presentation all about my dating experiences. Like, it was that kind of thing. So I figured, how could this fail, right? This is a surefire thing. Plus, it's a camp for people with disabilities. Not so fast. So there was this orientation where the counselors basically go to summer camp for 2 weeks, get to know each other, learn the ropes. And let me speak for probably all people with autism right now. We love work because it's this organized, structured social interaction, okay? So think about how much people, probably even neurotypical people, which means people without a disability like you guys, think about how much even you guys probably hated the high school cafeteria. It's home to so many awkward moments, right? Have you ever had that situation where you get your food and now you are on stage, the cafeteria is your audience, and you have 10 seconds to figure out what table you're sitting at, right? It's kind of like the wild, wild west of social interaction. It's lawless, okay? Now, work is the complete opposite of that. All of the painful social burdens of fending for yourself in the school cafeteria are alleviated and replaced with order and predictability. All the challenges of making friends are neutralized because none of you make the schedule. So ask anyone with autism, and I guarantee you they will tell you they love the workplace for that exact reason. If you can believe it, I'm never as comfortable anywhere as I am in the workplace. Like, for someone on the spectrum, that structure is like finding an island of peace while there's a war going on everywhere else. So it's this spoon-fed, synthetic social interaction. So I thought I was in for a whole summer of that. I was like, yes. But turns out the way they had this orientation going was more of like a get-to-know-you fest with games and impromptu dance parties and stuff like, everybody partner up, that kind of stuff, which is great for you neurotypical people. I know that you guys enjoy that sort of thing, but for me, it just is highly awkward. Put me right back in the high school cafeteria where I was on stage with my food, trying to figure out what table I was gonna sit at. And there were things going on, like, for instance, I'd be walking down the road and there would be like 3 or 4 other counselors over here, all huddling up, sharing inside jokes, and I was like 3 or 4 feet behind them this way. They were just blatantly excluding me, just like I wasn't even there. And I don't mean to complain, that's not true, I love complaining, but I don't think you should have to deal with that sort of thing in the workplace, especially not a camp for people with disabilities, and especially not when you've explained to them your disability. But look, I hate snitches, okay? I would never want to be the guy who runs to HR behind all my coworkers' backs. But if there's one lesson I've learned in the workplace, it's snitch or get snitched on. That's pretty much how it goes. Reluctantly, I went to HR, but I didn't tell them anything that wasn't happening. I just told them, hey, here's what's going on. It's happening because of my disability, and it's uncomfortable for me when we're all supposed to be all buddy-buddy here, getting to know each other, and I'm just being blatantly excluded from social interactions. And so I asked them if they could do me a favor. Go around and tell all of my coworkers about my disability. Because if there's one thing I've learned in the workplace, I don't mind being treated as special if it means I can keep the job, right? Like, I'm totally down for everybody to know about my disability, because even when you tell people about my disability, most of the time, because they don't feel like I have it, it's like they forget. Like, I'll explain my disability to them, but it still doesn't seem like I have a disability. So it's almost as if I didn't even tell them. But hey, it was worth a shot, right? So I was like, please go around, throw all my confidentiality out the window. Tell everyone all of my dirt. And they were reluctant to do this because they said this was supposed to be a camp where the people with disabilities come to forget about their disabilities. Like one summer, they can just come vacation and be treated as normal. And it was pretty cool. They actually did that. But can you guess why that policy doesn't apply to me? I explained to them a concept I knew would be hard for them to hear. I said, look, that policy is great for people with a visible disability, but my disability is invisible. So you got to tell them all my business so that we can make things work better. And so to their credit, they did it. And the next day, it worked. So I was in the school cafeteria, the camp cafeteria, except this time it was, hey, Dylan, come sit with us. Hey, Dylan, what do you think about this? You know, just including me in the conversation. It was like social affirmative action or social socialism. It was awesome. I was like, wow, this is like a dream. It's too bad I waited 2 weeks to advocate for myself like that, though, because the next day I got fired for something totally unexpected. You ready for this? I was there on the first day unpacking my things in my room. I see on this sheet they give us that we're supposed to disclose all our meds to the nurse's office. Now, I'm in the routine as an adult of taking my own meds, and I just assume take my own meds. I was there with my parents, and I was like, do you think I really have to bring my meds to the nurse's office? And they're like, nah, some things you can just keep to yourself. They weren't trying to hurt me. They were just trying to help. And then a few days later, a lead counselor told me, hey, dude, you should probably bring those meds to the nurse's office. I think they want you to have them there. So I was like, all right, I'll probably do that, because that's how he said it. What he should have said was, if you don't bring those meds to the nurse's office right now, you will be fired tomorrow morning, because that's what happened. They decided that that was such a policy breach that they had to let me go for it. And my dad actually, he knew somebody at the camp. He called up. He was very frustrated. He said, what the heck? You didn't even warn him. They said, we did warn him. We told him he should probably bring his meds to the nurse's office. He said, are you kidding me? Autistic people take everything literally. The words should and probably are suggestive words. So when you gave him this so-called warning, he heard it as a suggestion. I told my dad, I didn't hear this as a suggestion. This was a suggestion. And one thing I've noticed about my literal interpretation of words, whenever you neurotypical people want to be right, you'll jump over to my way of thinking real quick. Like, I'll be watching cable news debates, and all of a sudden, everything a politician said, he or she had to mean literally. So my autistic thought process helps you guys win arguments. I'm just saying. Let's talk some royalties after the show. If you could summarize autism in one sentence, they've written whole books about it, but one sentence I would probably pick, autism causes poor judgment. And can you get fired from a job for poor judgment? Absolutely. And would that have happened without my autism? No. So that's how you can get fired for your disability. It is 100% legal. And the takeaway I want you to take is don't underestimate a disability just because you can't see it. Thank you.